Fans have always loved Corey Harrison because he is real and has a big personality. Things haven't always been easy for this reality TV star behind the scenes, though. Corey is going to take over the family business now that his grandfather has died and his father is about to retire. But even though he loved, while Corey has been pawnbroking, he has had domestic problems that his fans don't know much about. Come with us as we find out about the secret struggles and heartbreaking moments in Corey Harrison's story that make it so tragic. Richard Corey Harrison, who goes by the name Big Hoss, is an American businessman and reality TV star, known for his part on Pawn Stars on the History Channel. The show shows what he does every day at the world-famous gold-silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, which he owns with his dad, Rick Harrison. Corey is one of the main characters and plays a big part in how the shop works. He helps run the day-to-day activities and handle the different deals that come in, together with his hands-on attitude. He is a fan favorite on the show because of how smart he is at business. That was 2 years before Corey was born. That year, his grandfather opened the gold and silver coin shop, a 300-square-foot used goods shop on Las Vegas Boulevard South. Since the family business was small, Rick worked at the shop during the day and took back cars at night. Not enough money. Rick and his family then had a baby boy named Corey in 1983. It became important for the family to leave a lasting legacy that this happy boy and his brothers would someday inherit. When Corey was 3 years old, his dad and grandfather moved their small business, because they worked so hard, to 413 Fremont Street, a bigger building. Moving to a new place made things better, at least for the next 2 years. Then they had an unexpected setback when they lost their lease. They were in a bad situation and needed to find a new place quickly. They were lucky because they were able to find a new building in a business area on Las Vegas Boulevard. They moved in and started growing their used goods business. But the Harrisons were thinking about turning their store into a pawn shop. They thought this was the next step that should be taken if they wanted to go beyond being a used goods store. That being said, they had a big problem, a law from 1955 in Las Vegas. The rule said that new pawn licenses could only be given to cities with over 250,000 people. For them to get their license, their city had to have more than 250,000 people. The only trouble was that there were just over 200,000 people living in Las Vegas in 1988. It was said that Rick called the city statistician every week to find out when the population hit 250,000. By 1989, his prayers had been answered, as Las Vegas had hit the right number of people. He also got the pawn license after some legal trouble. The Harrisons didn't waste any time. They opened that same year. The gold and silver pawn shop is less than 2 miles from the Las Vegas Strip at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South. So it's safe to say that Corey and the family business did pretty much grow up together. He spent most of his life at the gold and silver pawn shop with his brother Adam. Even his mother, Kim, had a big job there. Their mother and father finally split up, which was sad, and the boys moved in with their dad. They were married for 9 months before their dad met Tracy on a secret double date. She would later become his second wife. They moved in together after meeting for 6 months, and 8 months later they got married. Tracy was then in charge of taking care of Corey and Adam. It wasn't a surprise that Corey had grown up as a big brother and was now taking on some responsibility. He chose to start his job by working at the shop when he was 9 years old. Over time, the company grew and became well known in Las Vegas, and their income started to rise as their fame grew. Corey was 22 years old when the shop was lending about $3 million a year and getting back about $700,000 in interest. A lot of people were interested in the shop, and in 2003, it was even shown on the show Insomniac with Dave Attell. But this was only the start because, in his mind, Rick had a great idea that would make their business even better. Rick, Corey's dad, had been trying to get people to use his pawn shop as the setting for a show about pawn shops for 4 years, but no one was interested. After that, Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines from Left Field Pictures made the idea for Pawn Stars while they were in Las Vegas. The two liked how the interesting people who went into these one-of-a-kind pawn shops interacted with each other, so they decided to make a show about one. Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, which has more than 10,000 items and is close to the Las Vegas Strip, was chosen as the best place to film the show because it is run by a family. The show was first called Pawning History, but it was later changed to Pawn Stars. When it debuted in 2009, it made the Harrison family famous very quickly. The show became popular and kept coming back every year because people loved it so much. Many people really liked the show because of how the family interacted with each other, their customers, and their workers. Corey's being on the show. Corey quickly became a fan favorite on Pawn Stars because he was a third-generation pawn shop owner and had a lot of experience judging the value of things. Being very good at telling the difference between fake and real items and being very good at finding valuable ones made him very successful. He brought in more items than any other employee. But it didn't happen overnight that he became great at his job. He worked hard at it for years and used. He learned how to do things from both his dad, Rick, and his grandfather, and with each deal he got better. Over time, Corey's ability to tell the difference between real and fake items made him stand out, and his natural ability to connect with customers made him even more famous. When he was 19, he thought he knew everything there was to know about buying and selling. But the streets taught him a hard lesson. He bought 5 fake Rolex watches, which was a terrible mistake. Even he admitted it as he thought about what happened. This experience helped him get better at what he does and taught him more about the business. It also taught him how important it is to do a lot of study and be careful when handling valuable things. A lot of these things shocked people when he talked about some interesting ones. Corey told the story of someone who tried to pawn a live bird, but Corey turned them down. He wouldn't buy from a customer because he was talking about something else. 8 human skulls were brought in by a guy who said they were from a dental school. Corey didn't get them because he thought it might get him in trouble with the law later. In Corey's other memorable event, a man showed up in a fancy car with a trunk full of silver worth several $1,000,000. This time, someone came straight from the casino looking for quick cash to pay for his games. Corey had to help this person as early as 7 a.m. because the client wanted to sell his Ferrari in the morning. Some of these things are so crazy that Corey and his dad would often fight because they are from different generations and have different ideas about what to buy because of that. But even Corey's dad couldn't deny that he had shown great traits in running the business every day, especially his ability to build relationships. That's why he hired him and was put in charge of hiring and firing people. He was in charge of more than 30 workers at the gold and silver pawn shop, which shows that he could balance being a leader with running the day-to-day business. He was still very important to the shop's growth because he worked there himself. Fans were impressed by Corey's ability sense when they learned that he hired Chumley, who was 21 years old, to work at the gold and silver pawn shop. There was no doubt that Corey saw Chumley's ability to be great at helping people. Chumley was loved by everyone in the Harrison family's extended family because he was so good at getting along with others. People liked him because he was different and quirky, which made him an important and interesting character on the show and helped him gain his own fans. Over time, Chumley had grown into more than just a worker. an example of how smart Corey is. That brilliantness went beyond the shop. Corey also thought of ways to improve the family business, just like his dad did. What Corey did for the company. Corey made the Harrison family more visible on social media by giving them more power in fun new recreation areas. He, Rick, and Chumley had a great guest spot on iCarly in an episode called I Lost My Head in Vegas. The episode showed how silly they could be, which made fans love them even more. Rick then joined the two of them in July 2014 to start a new business with the History Channel game show Pawnography. The three of them were in a high-stakes trivia fight on the show, trying to keep the other contestants from winning. They got money and gifts from the pawn shop they loved. Fans said that the show was a fun and interesting way to connect with other fans and that it gave them another side to their public personas. Fans thought that Corey's work and his ability to combine business sense with media knowledge had made his part in the family business stronger. It became clear pretty quickly that Corey and his dad had a rough patch. The conflicting and cooperative relationship between a father and son shows how hard it can be to work closely with family, especially in a high-stakes business setting. Corey wanted a bigger part in the family business, which made things worse between them in Season 6 of Pawn Stars. Corey's grandpa, Richard, owned most of the business and was co-owner with Rick. Rick seemed to think that Corey still had to show what he could do. Corey wasn't happy and thought his father hadn't been fair to him, even though he had done a lot to help the family business. To show that he meant business, he asked for a 10% stake in the gold and silver pawn shop and told his father that he would leave if he wasn't given it. While some fans thought this, others thought that Corey could have just waited a few more years and gotten what was naturally his by birth instead of giving in to his anger. After a lot of thought, Rick chose to give Corey a 5% stake in the family business, with the chance of getting more in the future. When Corey agreed to the deal, it was a big turning point in his life. Reports say that Corey's shares have grown over the years, thanks to his growing sense of duty, even though Rick still owned the majority stake. Although Corey clearly wants to take over the shop, he will have to deal with some tough situations in order to do so. Things have gone wrong and been hard on that road too over the years. What they taught Corey almost died in a motorcycle crash one year. With 40 miles per hour going through his mind, Corey had to jump off his bike to avoid a terrible crash on his way to get supplies for his birthday party. The quick move made the bike spin out of control and fall apart. Even though the accident was very bad, Corey didn't go to the hospital right away. He went back to his party instead. After that, he went to the doctor because he hurt his hand badly and needed surgery, where 8 screws were put in. Thinking back on what happened. After coming so close to dying, Corey felt very lucky to be alive. Corey had also reached a point in his health where his doctor had to step in because of that close call. On Pawn Stars, Corey was known as the big guy for a long time. Big Hoss weighed 400 pounds at his biggest. At some point, his health started to suffer because of his weight, and his doctor had to give him medicine to keep him from getting diabetes. Putting his health first. Corey learned a lesson when he learned he was at risk for diabetes. It made him rethink his lifestyle. He was feeling a little down one day as he drove home from the doctor's office. Along the way, he saw a clinic that did lap band surgery and decided to act right away. Even though he didn't have much money at the time, he told Good Morning America. Corey used 4 credit cards to pay for the surgery, which was the first step in a big change in his life. By making the brave choice to improve his health, he began a new phase in both his personal and work life. After the surgery, he looked completely different, which shocked everyone. This made him stick with even more. He was doing everything he could to make sure the weight loss journey worked. He committed to regular checkups for his band and started living a very different life. He started to think about what he was eating and drinking and started choosing better foods and drinks instead of junk food. He said at one point, "I can only eat a little bit of food now. I check to see if it's good stuff." He also made exercise an important part of his timetable. Because of how well he changed, his friends pushed him to do his best. His friend Chumley was motivated by his success to start losing weight too. Taking on new challenges at the same time that Corey was getting healthier, his grandpa, the old man, was fighting Parkinson's disease, which many people didn't know much about. He passed away on June 25, 2018, and he was 77 years old. Rick, Corey's dad, told everyone about his son passing. He said that Parkinson's disease was the cause and had thousands of fans on Instagram. Corey also told his grandfather how thankful he was, that the old man was like a friend, and that their time together at the shop and on Pawn Stars was the best. And if things couldn't get worse in 2018, Corey and Karina Kiki Harrison got a divorce in September 2018 because of their busy work plans. After their split, they were on good terms and had a good thing to show for their marriage. Their son, Richard Benjamin Harrison, was born. Kiki was Corey's second wife, and they had been married for only a year. In the same way that his father did, Corey has had trouble with partnerships. The split from Kiki was his second. Charlene, his high school friend, was his first wife. They got married in 2009 but split up in 2015. It was said that Corey and Kiki might be back together, but they never said for sure. People have also linked Corey to Tara Paisley, who is the blonde person in his most recent Instagram pictures. He may have changed because of the problems he has with relationships. He was caught in Las Vegas on September 8, 2023. When a police officer saw his white Ford pickup truck weaving around near Main Street and Charleston Boulevard. The police officer thought Corey was drunk because his car smelled like alcohol. A field sobriety test was given to Corey, who had come to Vegas that day from Minnesota to film Pawn Stars Do America. He failed the test. He was taken to the jail in Las Vegas. Corey had to give a blood sample because the test in the jail was broken. We still don't know how the test went, but he was arrested on suspicion of driving while impaired based on the facts. In the end, he was charged with DUI. A Las Vegas newspaper reported that Corey was going to hire a lawyer to protect himself. He said, "I'm not going to tell the police to forget about it. Drinking and driving is okay. I don't want to be that person. I will fight back if someone hits me, though." Besides that, he said he only had one drink on the flight to Vegas 7 hours before he was pulled over, and he didn't drink again after arriving. He told them that his car leans to the right and gave them reasons why he didn't do well on the balance test. He was shaky because his shin was infected, and he had trouble keeping his balance on the bumpy road where he was stopped. Take a break for another emergency. When the police cars sped by, Corey talked about how he felt on trying to balance on one leg than the other. Besides that, he said that his license wasn't being taken away because of what happened, but things were about to get much worse. Adam Harrison, Corey's brother, died far too soon on January 20th, 2024. He was 39 years old. According to the county's medical examiner, Adam died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl and methamphetamine. This was confirmed by a representative for Clark County, Nevada. He wasn't moving when his employer found him because someone else was worried because they hadn't seen him since January 17th. Corey was very upset about his brother's quick death, which was making him feel bad. He also posted a picture of them as kids on Instagram and wrote, "I'll always love you, Bubba." Adam Harrison wasn't on Pawn Stars, but he worked at Gold and Silver Pawn before he became a plumber. Corey told the host that Adam didn't want to be on the show. Even though Corey lost, he stayed in the news because he stars in the second season of Pawn Stars Do America with his father Rick and friend Chumley. Corey was seen working on projects when he wasn't behind the camera. There were rumors that a new season of Gold and Silver Pawn Shop was being made, which meant that there would be more episodes. During this sad time, reports began to spread about Corey's health. Someone who saw him said he looked like he was in bad shape. Some said he might have had a stroke or some other major health problem. Of course, Corey isn't the only Pawn Stars group member who has had problems. What are the scandals with Pawn Stars? Since the show's premiere in July 2009, the group has been involved in a number of scandals. Even though the reality TV show has been a huge hit, with 21 seasons and fame around the world, there has been some drama behind the scenes that has often overshadowed the show's fun and educational tone. What Gold Silver Pawn Shop does every day. In March 2016, Austin Chumley Russell got in trouble with the law when his home was searched because of a report of attack. Even though the attack wasn't charged, the search turned up methamphetamine, marijuana, and guns, which led to 19 drug-related charges and 1 weapons charge. Chumley took a plea deal that got him out of jail by agreeing to therapy and probation. Johnny Jimenez Jr., you may know him as the toy expert from Pawn Stars, got in trouble with the law in 2015 when he was arrested for domestic violence. He later said that what happened was just a mistake, telling the police that his drunk girlfriend fell when he tried to pull her back inside a Las Vegas restaurant. Jimenez said that he wanted to help her, not hurt her, and he was angry that the cops hadn't taken the time to fully understand what was going on before they put him in handcuffs. He said that the authorities moved too quickly and without getting all the facts about what happened. Olivia Black also had a short stint on Pawn Stars in 2012, but was fired after only 13 shows when racy photos from her past showed up online. Because of the photos, which made a stir, she was fired from the show. Olivia was allowed to keep working at the pawn shop, but not in front of the cameras because of the incident. She was unhappy with what was going on, so she decided to leave the pawn shop for good. Black also went to court and sued the production company, but she didn't go back on the show after the scandal. Others have had problems, but Rick Harrison has had more than anyone else. Rick Harrison's problems since Pawn Stars made him famous. Harrison has had his fair share of problems off-screen. Pawn Stars, which started in 2009, was mostly about the gold-silver pawn shop, which was run by Rick's family. His father, Richard Oldman Harrison, and son Corey were also involved. Even though the show was a hit, Rick has been in the news because of some personal and legal problems. Rick was sued by his mother, Joanne Harrison, in 2022 over family property and who owned the pawn shop. While Joanne was still healing from a coma, she said Rick forced her to sign over her share of the business. Along with that, she said Rick stopped giving her the monthly payments from Richard's share of the shop after he died in 2018. However, Rick said that his mother was being lied to and that one of the companies she sued was actually one that she owned in full. Rick has a good public image, but the lawsuit has made it less appealing. It was found out that he and the rest of the production team stole wages. A 2013 poll by the Writers Guild of America East was used by the New York Daily News to show that reality TV writers and directors were often paid too little. Pawn Stars was one of the shows that was named. It was said that writers and producers made about $2,136 a week, which is a lot less than the $6,712 that their peers on scripted shows made. This difference brought to light a bigger problem in the entertainment business, which led to complaints from unhappy workers. Veterans from Vietnam called Daniel Callahan sued Rick and his father, Richard Old Man Harrison in 2012, saying they beat him up at the gold-silver pawn shop. As part of a dispute, Callahan said that the two had physically attacked him, choking him and dragging him through the shop. He wanted $20,000 in damages, as well as money to pay for his hospital bills and lawyers' fees. The Harrisons didn't say anything about it in public, and the case may have been settled without going to court. A woman named Jennifer Beckman brought a collection of stolen $50,000 coins to a pawn shop, which caused a lot of trouble. In 2014, Daily Mail reported that the state of Nevada made a criminal complaint against a woman named Jennifer Beckman for allegedly stealing her uncle David Walters' collection of coins from his home. Jennifer is said to have taken the collection to Pawnstar's gold-silver pawn shop. It included a rare $20 gold St. Gaudens piece from 1903 and silver Morgan coins from the 1880s. Jennifer apparently got $12,375 over 3 visits, and Mr. Walters called Gold-Silver Pawn Shop to find out that his coins were already gone by the time he realized they were missing. The coins were melted down before the cops could get them back. A representative said that coins are usually kept in plastic cases that have been marked with an expert's opinion on their value. If they don't believe the expert, the cases are broken open and the coins are sent to be melted down. The representative said they thought that was what happened, and that the majority of the coins were melted down. She said what Mr. Walters thought they were worth wasn't worth it. There are also claims that Pawn Stars is not what it seems to be. People still really like Pawn Stars, which is one of the History Channel's most popular shows after all these years. The strict rules that the group has to follow have led some to say that Pawn Stars is not the most realistic show on TV, even though it is about historical artifacts. The shop's owner, Rick, was a famous person who was said to be in the store every day meeting clients and making deals. However, Showbiz Cheat Sheet said that Rick disappeared for almost 6 months, leaving his workers to run the business. Just like Rick, Corey and Chumley were mostly in the shop to shoot. The other days, they stayed out of sight and let their close to 700 employees run the business. The stars tend to work off of scripts, the report said. Writers know each cast member's personality well enough to make sure that each story fits the stars. They should also be vetted ahead of time and go through a process before the discussion starts. Rick's personal life has also been rough, especially when it comes to his relationships. He has been divorced 3 times. In 2020, he got divorced from his 3rd wife, Deanna Burdett. The split was said to be due to irreconcilable differences. Rick had been married to Tracy Harrison for more than 20 years and to Kim Harrison for 3 years before that. After Richard Old Man Harrison died in 2018, there was one of the more personal controversies. It turned out that Richard had cut his younger son Christopher out of his will on purpose. It's still not clear why this choice was made, but Rick was made the receiver of his father's estate, which included his share of the pawn shop. Rick has been through a lot in his life, not just court problems. Adam, Rick's son, died of a drug accident in 2024. Adam had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system, according to the toxicology report. Since then, Rick has become an activist for bringing attention to the opioid problem in the United States. Rick's son's death was very sad, and he needed time to cry alone before getting back to his normal, active self. Rick's sense of fun and charm have made him a fan favorite on Pawn Stars, and he stayed in the spotlight. Airport security in El Salvador made fun of him and his famous line from the show, "I don't know, Rick. It looks fake," in a joke about his real passport in 2023. The joke went viral. Rick played the joke with the usual sense of humor. Rick has had some personal and family problems, but he has also done some amazing things. He became a Kentucky colonel in 2023, which is an honorific title given by the governor of Kentucky. This honor brought Rick's fame outside of pawn shops and his part in American pop culture to light. Rick has found love again after a lot of ups and downs. He has been bragging about his friendship with Angie Poliskin, an injectables-trained nurse. The couple has talked about their trips and events, such as their romantic trip to Paris. Some people have said bad things about Rick and Angie, but Rick seems happy and content with her by his side. Rick Harrison has continued to be successful in the pawn shop business and with Pawn Stars Do America. He has also grown a lot as a person. Even though he's been through a lot, he's learned to find happiness in his family, his relationship, and his job. What do you think? Write what you think in the box below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you liked the movie. But that's all there is to this movie. Check out some of our other videos if you want to see more great videos like this one. Goodbye.